Welcome back. South Africa's constitution is often referred to as one of the most progressive in the world. It was the first on the African continent to legalise same-sex marriages. Now the process has started to amend the country's identity laws to possibly include a third gender. Comments and proposals have been submitted to Home Affairs by interested parties. Ayesha Ismail reports.
Transgender person Danielle Zal says she's tired of facing discrimination and ridicule for being herself.
The sad part is when you stand at a teller in a government place or sitting across an individual and she's filling out a form and she has to say, Mr. Zal. But yet, I am looking flawless, the makeup is flawless, everything is flawless, and they're saying Mr. Zal.
She says there's a long list of hoops to go through for gender reassignment. Zal says she's given up on Home Affairs, who's refusing to allow her to change her gender.
You have to go see psychologists and psychiatrists, and you have to get a letter from the doctor advising that you are crossing over to the other side, if I can say so.
Some organizations agree and support some of the proposed amendments to the draft official identity management policy affecting the LGBTQIA+ community.
One of the things that needed correction was the language used, the proposal of the third gender that we are against. In South Africa, when you're going to talk of the third sex, you are actually making a new group. And we know that even at this point in time, South Africans are not so open to gender and sexual diversity.
Keswa says ID numbers should not code gender as is currently happening.
It should be just neutral numbers that any South African would access. With the smart ID card, I would remove the male and female, the actual letters M and F. So now you just get numbers that any South African citizen, can access.
He says this will protect South Africans from possible violence and possible discrimination.
When it comes to this management policy, it affects only the intersex, the non-binary and transgender persons.
Keswa also says people should be allowed to self-identify and medical practitioners should not act as gatekeepers.
Home Affairs need to come up with a regulation to say, in the absence of medical practitioners validating this person's gender, perhaps then the person can simply go to the nearest police station and make an affidavit.
Sadly, he says, despite South Africa's progressive constitution and legislation, violence and hate crimes perpetrated against the LGBTQIA+ community are among the highest. Ayesha Ismail, Cape Town.